y'all. Check it out. Today is the day that we get rid of these drum brakes and go to these right here. We're swapping over to disc brakes on the 65. I think most of you guys that know me by now, you know that I'm not a big disc brake like upgrade guy. I don't really care about it. In other words, with the Fox body. Fox body already has front disc brakes, drum rear. Works pretty good for me. I'm not saying that upgrading is wrong. Absolutely, if you guys want to do it. But for me, I'm not one of those guys that typically upgrades brakes. If you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you already know that. But the 65 is extremely dangerous, especially now with the 347 in it and making a little bit more power. These drum brakes just aren't for me, y'all. Good luck with yours. If you've had good luck with it, I hope you continue to have good luck. I'm done. So this is a disc/disc master cylinder, non-power. Now, from my understanding, it can be adapted to a power system, but it's got a 1-inch bore, and this will allow us, hopefully, to run manual disc brakes all the way around. It was pretty cost effective, to be completely honest with you. You could go with a lesser brake and still spend the same kind of money as with Wilwood here. And with that being said, check it out. This thing actually comes with the brake lines and everything, all the adapters for the back. So we should be good here. All right, so I've never done a disc brake conversion on a first gen like this. So we're just gonna get started, and I'll give you guys some tips and some tricks along the way. Typically the way I do this is I'll do one side so that I can learn, and I'll give you some tips and some tricks. And then on the other side, if we get time, I'll show you more of a step-by-step. We'll see how this goes. If you guys are interested in swapping from drum brakes over to disc brakes, feel free to hang around and kind of listen to this. It's pretty simple. For those of you who don't, you can skip through this part. Anyway, of course, you want to remove your brake drums. That's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to do this just like you would do if you were changing out your brake shoes or your drum itself. But one of the first things you're going to want to do is pack your bearings. So here you're going to see me packing my bearings. Now, I don't do bearings the way everybody else does, but for me, I like to put a glob of grease in my hand and just kind of pop it, and it forces it up through the bearings. You guys can look up how to pack bearings. You can do it the way that you like. And just like that, we're going to be down to our brake shoes. This is pretty easy. All you got to do is pop your brake shoes off, and as you can see, once you get your brake shoes off, there's not much left. There's 4 bolts back there behind everything. You're going to pull those 4 bolts off and then remove the backing plate. And from this point, it's pretty easy. All we're going to do is clean everything up and get ready to install our caliper bracket. This thing does go on a certain way, so make sure you get it clocked right. And that's it. Drop your bolts in, tighten everything down. Next up, put your packed bearing in with your seal. Go ahead, throw your rotor on. Then install your outer bearing. I like to tighten this thing down pretty tight. I don't take a torque reading or anything like that. I just like to snug it down pretty good, seat the bearing, and then back it off a little bit. Once you're done, knock your dust cap on, and you should be good to go. But guys, doesn't that look good? Such a simple process. Your brake lines and everything else are going to hook right back up. Right up there where you see the connection from the soft line to the hard line, all that stuff's going to connect right back up. The only modifications you'll have to make is up on your master cylinder, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. What you think, John?
It looks killer, man.
It does. It looks really, really good, y'all. So it is installed. They're done. This was honestly a super, super easy process, and we went about it probably a little differently than most of you guys will, but I'm going to give you a combination here that works. So if you guys are interested, if you're going from a drum brake car over to disc brakes, something that you can do to make this work. So I'll get to that in a second, but the one thing that I do want to tell you guys is remember, it is just bolt on. You don't have to cut anything. It all goes on flawlessly. We had a little bit of trouble under here with the master cylinder. I say trouble, that's what took the longest, I'll say. So we'll get the car lowered down, Actually, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead, slap the wheels on this thing since you've seen it now. Show you what it looks like with the wheels on, and then we'll lower it down and talk about the master cylinder. That looks so good, y'all. I know. I'm like a kid in a candy store here, but you got to get the wheel just right. There you go. I wonder if anybody's ever been killed by a chicken. I'm sure they have, but.
Probably for bad reasons.
Yeah. This is a disc to disc, 1-inch bore master cylinder. So here's how we did this. So you got your factory block back here. What we did was just take the line that goes to this wheel off the block and the line that goes to the other wheel off the block. And believe it or not, we just bent them around ever so slightly until they worked. Now, this could stand to be messed with a little bit more. It's kind of close to that header, but it'll be fine for what we're doing. Now, you guys may want to run on your brake lines or order the correct stuff. That's perfectly fine. We're all about what works here, so that 100% worked. And the only thing that we did was take everything off the factory block, bend it around, and make it go into that master cylinder. The rear of the master cylinder is capped off because we don't have our disc brakes for the back yet, and we're just going to run some new line back there. So, y'all, that's it. This was super easy. John, what do you think?
Man, anybody can do this. There's no doubt that any of the novice people that are afraid to do something like this, the instructions are pretty good. It's just a good product.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice.
Man, this stuff looks so good. Yeah. It looks factory.
It does look factory. So I think we're going to give the car a quick test drive, probably just around the neighborhood for right now, and we'll see how this thing works. All right, so once again, we've got a plug that's wanting to foul out. When we put the plugs in the car, we used used ones because that's all we had late at night. So every so often it tries to act crazy. As far as the brakes go, it'll clear up in a minute. As far as the brakes go, we only have about half a pedal. It's probably, I'll tell you what, this thing's backfiring like hell. Let us drive it, get the plugs to clear up, and then we'll go over the brakes.
Some gun rides good.
Yeah, it rides really good.
Sure is a lot quieter in here.
For sure, you can pretty much just talk normal. Got us a thumbs up.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's see how our brakes feel. Oh yeah.
Oh God.
And that's, there again, only about half pedal, so I don't have a lot of leverage.
That's night and day.
That feels great. And that's, there again, no back brakes either, so that's just front brakes. We also need to adjust the rockers because the rockers only have quarter turn of preload. They need comp cam calls for half turn, so I think I'm hearing them a little bit.
What was that?
I don't know. Good way to clear the plugs out. Shit blowing all in my eyes.
Yeah, it's.
Woo. Car's extremely rich. I can't tell you guys that. It's blowing black smoke out. And we're only getting 3/4 throttle, and we got a 5600 chip. Why didn't we change the damn chip? Oh, we thought we were going to go around the neighborhood.
Yep.
But guys, we got brakes.
And it don't snatch you, it's easy.
No. I mean, let's see. Look at that. Yeah. I feel pretty confident with these brakes. I'm not saying that they're the best yet, but they're pretty good. Yeah, we got some carburetor stuff to work out, but you can tell she's trying to pull though. It's gonna run good. I'm comfortable now with driving the car. I don't feel like that, you know, we're gonna run off in the ditch whenever I have to tap the brakes. So if we need to stop, we can stop.
Y'all, this car was dangerous.
Yeah.
It was just pure dangerous.
For sure. That damn clutch grabs. Here we go. Here's the test. Oh yeah. Look at that. No fade. No nothing. Hell yeah. That's awesome, y'all. I'm happy. Well, all right. That's it. There was our first drive. I think it went great.
It went good, man. Didn't pull.
Nope, didn't pull or anything. We do need to possibly do some more bleeding on them, but yeah, that's it, y'all. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. I got sidetracked when we got back home, so I didn't really close the video out. So let me give you my first impression on the brakes. They are phenomenal. Nothing extravagant, like the car doesn't stop like a Ferrari or a Porsche or something like that. The car actually stops. No brake fade. I really like these brakes. And, you know, I've had a couple people say that these aren't budget and this and that. Honestly, guys, they really are. When you compare the price of these brakes versus some of the in-house brands out there that you can get for these cars, they're right on par. These brakes cost me, I think, $849, and they come with the brake lines, all the bearings, the races already installed, of course. Everything that you need. We literally didn't have to buy anything else for this because I made the brake lines work. I did have to buy a master cylinder. I think it was like $169. And remember, if you're doing this and you want to stay manual brakes, which I highly recommend, it is a 1-inch bore disc-to-disc master cylinder. If you buy that, you know, finagle your brake lines back around in the front, you should be good to go. Anyway, I just want to close this out for you guys. Super easy install. I think anybody can do it. And I'll argue that it's pretty budget if you're going to be buying a complete kit anyway. It might vary $100 or so versus another kit. As far as what I've seen, you know, there may be cheaper options out there. I just didn't see it. Besides, I mean, come on. I'm going to be honest with you guys. They look almost factory, the gray matches and the white. And, you know, I'm happy with my purchase. One other thing before we go. I did drive the car last night, myself and Berger. She's running good. I'll put just a tiny snippet in there for you guys. The car is running great. Played with the timing, the carburetor, adjusted the valves. But I will tell you, I think we got some bad lifters. When I was adjusting the valves, I noticed that 3 of the lifters basically had leaked down. So when I went to put preload in it, the wrench just like fell down. There was no resistance at all. So that means the lifters are leaking down. And there was 3 of them that did it. So I think that's where the chatter is coming from the engine. So we will be installing our new cam. I'm not going to mention it. For you guys that have been watching, you know what cam I'm putting in this car. We're going to go ahead and put a set of new lifters in there as well. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up. And as always, thanks for watching. I thought I had been hearing that. I don't know if it's a rocker arm or what, but